Hello, everybody, and welcome to this latest in the ValuesJam guest session series. Fabio, thank you very much for joining us today. And to start with, could you please introduce yourself and tell people about the great work that you do?
Okay, thank you, Alan. Thank you for the invite. I'm Fabio Sausen. I'm Brazilian, live in Portugal. I moved to Portugal 4 years ago, near 5 years ago. I'm a computer science engineer, but I'm moving from the tech area to more a human area. I made a master degree this year related to management, service management, and my focus now is on productivity and personal development and posting daily in LinkedIn about that, about the productive techniques, how it can improve the way we deliver our job and how can we achieve our goals. Because my view of productivity is doing more with less time to achieve our goals, because for me make no sense doing more for what doesn't matter, but doing more in the direction of our goals. It is my view of productivity, and it's all about I talk daily on LinkedIn. I am building my own website as a computer engineer. I'm trying to have the web design, but it's not my strong part. And I'm writing a book that I intend to publish it until end of this year, and finish the revision in Portuguese. Then I will start to translate it to English. So my intention is publishing both in Portuguese and English until end of this year. It is my yearly main goal. On the
Fantastic.
personal side, I'm a marathonist. I like to run marathons. I run 5 marathons between 2016 2018. Then I moved to Portugal and I completely stopped running. Then I gained 20 kilos of completely fat. And end of last year, I decided no, I have to change something in my life. Then I returned running. In 6 months, since I returned running, I barely could run 5 kilometers. 6 months I run the Copenhagen Marathon in May this year. And now I'm training to Porto Marathon that will happen in less than a month, in 5th of November. So it is my personal goal this year is run at least 2 marathons per year to keep in shape. I already lose 15 of those 20 kilos. I still have to lose 5 more, but I'm much better than I was end of last year. So this is me. I'm married. I have one daughter, 9 years, and all good. Thanks,
Fantastic.
Alan.
Thank you for sharing, Fabio. And I can relate to this because I put on too much weight, and there's an app called Couch to 5K, which is a program that helps you get from nothing to running 5K. So we're at the moment at the end of week 6. So looking forward to completing that program by the end of the year and hopefully losing some of those kilos at the same time. So I completely relate to you. I'm curious about the book. What's the title of the book?
The title of the book, my goal, my initial idea was to not wake up early, because I talk about productivity and some myths about productivity. And the one myth, I don't know if I can say myth, but one point that many people say is you have to wake up at 5 in the morning to be a productive person. I don't agree with that. So I was intend to publish as don't wake up at 5, but my editor and my wife convinced me that it's not a good title. So we changed it to Beat the Clock. And
Oh, that's good.
the book will be about the productivity, as it is my my main expertise and my focus. So I will present some technique. First, the importance of a good sleep and how we sleep improve your productivity, your energy, and how can you produce more during the day with a good night of sleep.
Yeah.
And other than that, the book presents some good techniques, already proven techniques that can improve your technique. You can deliver more, and in a structured way to change habits, to how reduce the distraction, how to reduce the procrastination, how you can beat the procrastination, and in the end of the book, create a challenge that it's 8 weeks challenge that if you follow that weeks, you can boost your productivity, you can skyrocket your deliveries, because the idea is start with one step every week. My intention is never try all of them at the same time. It's too much and it create tensions. So my suggestion is every week you start one new technique, and in the end of 8 weeks you can see all the results of those techniques can do in your life.
Fantastic. Okay. So I've got the ValuesJam card deck here. So I'm just going to tip out some cards, and I'm going to put 3 piles in front of me. So would you like the left, the right, or the middle pile?
The middle.
The middle.
Let's see the middle.
Okay, so we have 4 cards. So choose a number between 1 and 4 to see what card we're going to get.
2.
Card 2. Okay, so this is the card that we're going to play with, wisdom. So the first question, Fabio, is what does wisdom mean? And what does it look, feel, and sound like?
For me, wisdom means when you can put together your knowledge and your experience. Because it doesn't matter if you have a lot of knowledge, you read, study. If you never apply that, you don't have any experience. And sometimes you have a lot of experience, but without a proper knowledge, without proper academic background, you are doing the same way someone was doing before you, but never question why. So wisdom for me is when you put together both knowledge, academic, read, all this background with experience, action, execution. So when you have both, you have wisdom, so you can talk with properly. You know what you are talking about for both sides. You can have more than one view, because sometimes people only see from one point of view and they don't care about the others. Wisdom is when you can see from different points of views to have a complete view, a wide view from the same topic.
What a brilliant
It's for me.
Yeah,
and
so the other thing that's come out for me, and I love how quickly you were able to respond, actually, and this combination of knowledge and experience, and then a multiple view rather than a single view. I've got I think two things that I would like to add to that. One is that you're able to apply the knowledge and the experience and the multiple view to a given situation, even though that situation might not have occurred previously. And then the final point is that as a result of all of that, you're able to give really good advice to somebody to help them make a choice or a decision. So what do you think of those builds on what you started with?
completely agree. I like to say about the knowledge and experience, because nowadays you have so many gurus, so many coaches in the world that they are giving advisor without or knowledge or experience. Because of that, I like to say first study, then apply. And when you have both, you can start to give advisors, because without it, you are just thinking, you're just guessing, you don't know exactly what you're talking about. So I completely agree. And when you have this background, the next step is take the action. For me, wisdom is understand when you have to take the action. Sometimes you have to take the action now, sometimes you have to plan a little more, then take the action. And it comes with wisdom, it comes with proper knowledge and experience. Because if you have only one party, you take actions without the proper plan, and it won't work. Or you plan too much and never take the action.
Yeah.
So wisdom is, I completely agree with you, is using all that information, all that knowledge, to take the actions on the right moment and help others.
Yeah. And it's you mentioned your book. I'm due to submit the draft manuscript of my next book this week, actually. So that's
Nice.
about the field of customer experience. And one of the questions that we ask at the beginning of the book is this. It says, with so much content out there on the topic, why is great customer experience so rare? Which is, I think, to your point about, you can have everything in your head, but if you don't actually do something with it, it's meaningless.
Exactly. My master thesis was about the omnichannel.
Yeah.
And the omnichannel is complete about customer experience.
Yeah.
Is have a seamless customer experience. And my focus was about the customer feeling about omnichannel, how the omnichannel integration impacted the customer. And my target was on the customer side. Most of the studies about omnichannel are on the retailer view. So my work was on the customer view. So it is exactly that. We can see many companies talk about omnichannel, about multi-channel, but they don't have that customer experience in mind. How the customer interact with it, because they create many solutions that the customer don't want, and they never heard the customer to understand, the client to understand what they actually want, what they actually need to improve their experience. And this one topic that I'm really interested, because everyone is customer, everyone using that, everyone experience that, and we want a better experience when we are interactive with companies.
Yeah. And coming back to your book and what you talked about there, I think there is a connection with wisdom, because what you said was, productivity is about not working too hard. You want the best return on the effort that you put in, because otherwise, why would anybody want to do that? And so I share that view with you. I'm always looking to do things where you get a much bigger return on your effort. And so I believe greatly in scalability, for instance, because to create something small needs a lot of effort. And then if you can make that 10 times bigger for not very much more effort, that's got to be a good deal, right?
Yeah. Yeah, one of the most important technique I talk in my book is about the Eisenhower matrix. Many people don't know what is Eisenhower matrix, but you split your task in urgent and importance.
Yeah.
The Q1 is urgent and important, high urgent and high important, so you have to do, no question, it's critical. But you don't have to put everything there, you're gonna crazy. The Q2 is when the tasks that are not urgent, but they are important. And it is the procrastination paradise, because you don't have any deadline. For example, we were talking about running and losing fat. There is no date. Oh, you have to lose 5 kilos until end of the year. No, nothing will happen if you lose or you don't lose. But it's important. So you have to focus on what is important, and you don't have a deadline and it's not urgent, because there is what will create your future, where you make you closer to your goal. Because when you see, this is the task I need to put my effort, I need to put my energy to move in direction of my goal. So that is where you have to focus. And what I talk a lot in my book is how to define those tasks using techniques like Pareto to understand these are the 20% of tasks that you deliver most of my objective, and put it in the right quadrant and focus on that. Use the techniques like Pomodoro to remove distractions and focus on delivery what is important to you. So my book is a framework that you can apply when you want to achieve your one goal. Define that goal, execute the steps. When you have I have in my book, then for sure you move really quick in direction of your goal.
Okay. And actually, you're making, when you were talking about, nothing will happen if you don't lose that weight by a certain date. Let me give you a piece of wisdom here. So I'm involved with the British Quality Foundation. So it's all about excellence in business. And every 18 months, we have an awards dinner. And this happened last Thursday. So it's a black tie formal dinner, 500 people. It was a sellout this year, which was fantastic. Now, 2 days before, I realized that I'd put on some weight. And so I decided it's going to be okay to wear the dinner jacket not done up. It will be okay to wear the dinner jacket without the button done up. That will be fine. But then the day before the event, I suddenly thought, what about the trousers? And I went to try the trousers on, and they wouldn't fit. So on the day of the event, I had to go and buy a new dinner suit. So the wisdom there, I think, is realize where the crunch points are, because if I had, I would have considered doing running to lose the weight so that I wouldn't need to spend money on a new dinner suit.
Much sooner. One strategy I have when I get some weight is never buy new clothes.
Yeah.
When my jeans start not close, okay, I have to lose this belly because my jeans not fit anymore. So I won't buy a new jeans, because if I buy a new jeans and it's comfortable, I lose that motivation to lose weight. So no, I won't buy new jeans. I will lose that weight to use the same jeans.
I think that's a really good tip. Now, the other half of the question was the imagination one. So when you think of wisdom, what images come to mind? What sounds come to mind? And what feelings come to mind?
Of course, when we talk about wisdom, we think in the old guy giving some advice. It is, or I don't know why, but I think in Winston Church, because of some videos I watch and some movies, but is that old guy and saying few words that it's exactly what will happen, or it's the solution. I like to see that. And the feeling is receive a good advice from someone that has wisdom, and it open your mind, because wisdom is not give the answer, but making the right questions to the person get the answer. Because for me, much more important than the answers are the questions. So wisdom is make the right question, to put that person to think, and you get the answer. So that is the feeling, is a question that make people think, reflect it, and get the answer.
Yeah, again, this is really quite strange because we seem to be thinking very, very closely similar. So I, like you, I had the vision of the old guy giving the advice. I always look to questions rather than answers because they are more important, and the answers will change over time and in different circumstances. So that's another reason. The sound that comes to mind for me is it's kind of connected to the old guy, but for me, wisdom is gentle and soft. You know, not it's not shouting or excited. It's really, really peaceful. Um, and the feelings, for me, it's one of almost wonder. You know, so it's how did you do that? How did you think of that? You know, it's like I couldn't have done that. That is so wise that you managed to do that. So it's this real strong positive impression from somebody who is displaying wisdom. Okay, so let's get a bit more practical now. So give me an example of when you have noticed a lack of wisdom.
In myself, in
Anything that comes to
situation,
mind.
lack of wisdom. I don't know. I can remember some politics in Brazil that I see. No, guys, you're not doing the right thing. It's not the wisdom doing that, and but the world is too politicized nowadays, and I prefer to avoid this discussion. But sometimes I only say no, it's not right. Uh,
Fabio, I
and
remember your old president during COVID. And
exactly, exactly like that. And I said I don't want to go that, but
sure.
sometimes he said I don't take the vaccine because you turn to a crocodile, and the people start to think it's true. And no, come on, guys, you can't think it's true, and something like that. But I in my life I see wisdom, especially when the solution was too obvious that we don't think. When we are stuck in some questions and we cannot see the solution, and someone with much more experience, much more windows say, "Have you ever think about that?" And oh, it's obvious. How can I didn't thought about that? Oh, is the wisdom is see the obvious where no one is seeing that, and ask the simple questions. Have you ever considered it? And it's magically clear everything, and everything is done in seconds when you take days to get that point. So it is a daily. I cannot remember exactly any situation to say that, but it happens sometimes when someone with more experience just ask one simple question, and everything become clear.
Yeah, and so let me give you an example that you've reminded me of. So I was in a job where I was leading a business, and one of the team members, so a senior leader, was not performing very well when I arrived. And I guess my ego got in the way, and I thought, Alan, you're going to be able to sort this guy out. You're going to be able to make him into a good performer. And so I didn't take any action apart from trying to encourage him and help him to improve. And I think around about 3 months went past. And then I had a one-to-one with not my boss, but his boss. And this guy just said to me, are you willing to put at risk your performance for this guy that you're trying to make better? And that was very wise because I was really invested in trying to make him as good as I could. But what I didn't realize was that it was reflecting really badly on me, not just him. So as a result, I confronted the situation. And what was really strange was when I did that, the guy said that he knew he wasn't up to the job, and he thanked me for raising the issue, and he moved to a different job in a different business, and there he was happier and performed well. So I think that's a practical example which plays to the what you were explaining, right?
Yeah, someone make you the simple question, the opposite question. You are impacting your performance because of the others, and you never thought of that.
Yeah.
And it's too obvious after after you someone say to you, but before that, it's not that obvious.
Yeah. And what about, so let's look at the other side of the coin then. Where have you experienced wisdom in action?
I can say these examples when someone came to us and they make the obvious question, and they put the people to think. And I like when my boss have the solution, have the answers, and they have the wisdom to not say the answer, but make us think and get that. Uh, I I evolve. I came to a technical background, as I said, and a computer scientist. So when I start work, I was completely technical code developing, and I was moving to management situation. And for lack of wisdom, lack of experience, I had hard time to delegate. So anything that was more complex, instead of sending it to my team, oh no, let me do it by myself. Let me do it by myself. Let me do it by myself. And I arrived in a point that I was doing more than my whole team, and I was not managing. So I said, no, I need wisdom to understand that my function now, my role now is managing them, not doing their job. So I have this stick that I have to stop it. I call my team, and they get one by one of my tasks and delegate to them, explain how can they do that, show them how to do, teach them. Then I could start managing what was expected from me, and I leave them to grow, because what was happening is I was not managing, and they are not growing because I was not delivering the challenge to them. So when I realized that, I have this wisdom moment, and I said, not, no, I'm doing it completely wrong. Let's do it again in the right way. Now I delegate everything, and I focus on what I have to do, what is my role, and where I can deliver value. Because if you are a manager and you are micromanage your team, you are not delivering value, because you are not paying for that. You are paid for make them grow and deliver the value as a team. So when we realize that, we focus where I can deliver more value, how can I make my team deliver the most value, is how we have to approach. So it is the wisdom moment that make all the difference in my life.
Yeah. And what you're making me think about here is how sometimes it's the more difficult choice to make, right? Because it was very easy for you to say, oh, well, I'll do it. And you dive in and you get it done. So that's really easy to do. And you've reminded me of a story. So I was working in a hotel. So my original career was commercial hospitality management. So my job was the food and beverage director in a five-star hotel in London. So I was in charge of all the restaurants and bars and conference space in the hotel. And I had only been in the job for a few days, and I was in my office, and the restaurant manager came to see me, and he said, we didn't know each other very well, obviously, because I'd only just been there. And he said, Mr. Williams, could I have some tablecloths, please, for the restaurant? And I was just surprised. Why would you be asking me for the tablecloths for the restaurant? And he said, well, the guy that had your job before, whenever I needed tablecloths, I used to go to him and ask him for the tablecloths, and he got them for me. So I said, oh, okay. And who's responsible for cleaning the tablecloths and preparing the tablecloths? And he said, the housekeeping department. So I said, okay, have you spoken to anybody in the housekeeping department? And he said, no, I haven't. So I said, okay, well, please can I ask you to go and ask somebody in the housekeeping department to provide you with the tablecloths. And if you don't have any success, please come back and see me, and then we'll sort out what we're going to do. So I never saw him again for tablecloths.
Yeah, and what I see many managers like to do is being the bridge, but useless bridge. So what would happen is the restaurant manager came to you, you came to housekeeping, housekeeper responds to you, you respond to them. Then why? Talk with the people, talk with that person, and it's done.
Exactly.
You don't need to do that. But the people, like, one chapter of my book is between the comparison of being productive and being busy. The people like to be busy, not being productive. They don't ask if what they are doing is delivering value, is producing anything. They like to be busy. If you are busy, you are working. It's not true. Most of the time, the best moment, you are producing much more when you are not busy and you are thinking. But if you are busy, you cannot think. You are just doing things.
Yeah.
So I focus much more on that, on look if what you are doing is delivering value, is producing something. If it's not, it's waste, and delegate, eliminate, or anything, but stop doing that.
Yeah, and you've made me think. So I think you might know this already, but so October is the month when World Values Day happens, and it's on the 19th of October this year. And so it's to celebrate World Values Day that I have set myself a challenge to have a Values Jam conversation like this 31 times in the month, right? So the equivalent of one every day. So that's quite a big commitment. And I've given myself the freedom to, if I miss one day, then I have to have two on another day, and that's still okay. It doesn't have to be one every single day. So that's the first thing. The second piece of information is that these Values Jam guest session series are published on the YouTube channel every Sunday morning. So there's a series of them. So when I was deciding to do this challenge for October, like you say, I was thinking, well, that's going to be a lot of work. I'm going to be very busy. But then I think it was one evening, I was just not thinking about anything in particular. And it occurred to me that actually I will have 31 guest sessions recorded that I can use next year. So I won't have to do the recordings for the first 6 months of 2024 because I already will have them. And that's reinforcing to me the relationship between wisdom and productivity, actually.
Exactly. The productivity, the wisdom is see what we are delivering value. We are talking about value here, is because work more doesn't necessarily means we are delivering more. And the wisdom is exactly see it and see, oh, I don't need to do that. It won't deliver any value to me. I have to focus here. Here is where the value is. And here is what I have to do, what I have to focus my energy, attention, and time to deliver. Because anything out than that is wasted, it's noisy, and it won't make you be close to your target. For example, I like to study, I like to use my time as much productive as possible. It's my expertise. But then I was doing Duolingo to learn another language. Then I was learning Germany. I studied like 6 months of German. I learned almost nothing because German is hard. Then I decided to learn Spanish. Then I was learning Spanish for 1 month, 2 months. Then I think, why I'm doing that? Is it delivering any value to my goal? My goal is being a productive expert. So it's not moving me to that. And trying to learn a language with an application that probably will take 5 years to learn something, and it won't help me that. So I stopped that, and the time I was using Duolingo, I read more, and I have more books read every week. So now I feel I'm moving the right way.
Okay.
So wisdom is see what you are doing that is wrong, that is wasting for achieve your goal. Of course, we need to have our time for leisure, our time for family, and to enjoy other things. But when you are not using your time for that, you have to think, is it a good thing for my goal or not? I'm adding value for my goal or not? And for me, wisdom is say, no, I have to stop it. I like it, but I have to stop it to achieve what I want.
Yeah, and you know, you've again reminded me this. I can't remember who told me this, but it was a guy who said, when you choose to do something and spend your time doing something, consider what you're not able to do as a result. And I think that's really that's wisdom, and it relates to productivity really strongly. So I wonder, do you touch on that in your book?
Not exactly this point. I touch in Eisenhower matrix saying you have to put all tasks you have in your day in the quadrants.
Yeah.
And anything that's not important, it's not urgent, just eliminate.
Okay.
It's the same thing, but in a different point of view. I'm finishing the book Essentialism. It's a bestseller. I don't know if you know Essentialism. And in the Essentialism, he says that every time you say yes for one task, you are saying no for hundreds of tasks.
Yeah.
So anytime someone asks you, please help me with that, really think about that. Not say yes just to say, because if you are saying yes to someone, you are saying no to yourself.
Yeah.
It's strong.
It's a great
But
point.
he gave some example that some directors that was accepting all project they was offering to him, and in the end of the year he cannot deliver any project, because if you start to accept many projects, you cannot focus in any of them, and in the end you don't deliver anything. You work a lot, you were always busy, but you didn't deliver anything. So start saying no to anything that's not essential. That's no to anything that's not make you get close to your goals, because if you say yes to that, you're saying no to your goal. So say yes to your goal and no to anything else.
So let me ask you a question here, and this relates to how wisdom is contextual from the perspective of time. And where I'm going with this is that I think that our traditional view of wisdom that we talked about earlier, you know, where it's this combination of knowledge and experience and then application to a situation, that's fine when things are not changing very much. But in the world that we live in now, it's super dynamic. Things are changing fast and faster and faster. And so it feels to me like experience and knowledge and application is less possible than it was 20 years ago, because things are new and different. So how do you...
I agree, but it's different for me. For me, 20 years ago, you think about experience someone that has 20, 30 years doing the same job.
Yeah.
And you think about knowledge, someone with a PhD.
Yeah.
Now, knowledge and experience much quicker.
Yeah.
You can have the experience in 5 years. For example, if you start to talk about the artificial intelligence, you are hire someone that is expert in that, and he only works 5 years on that, and he's experted because it's too new and everything is changed. So the idea for me is the same, but the timeline is different. You can have, because we are in the information area, so you can have all this knowledge, all this experience much quicker. And if you deep focus in one area, you can be an expert in 1 year, 2 years. And the wisdom is how to focus all your attention in one area to get the wisdom quicker. It is the secret now. Because if you start to try, oh, I want to understand all new techniques, all new technology that is coming in the next 5 years, you get mad.
Yeah.
Or you won't learn anything because you get only superficial thing. You to be update now, you have to focus in one area. I want to understand artificial intelligence. I want to understand blockchain. I want to understand the one thing, one social media, one that, and focus on that, and you can get this wisdom much quicker, and you have to get that quicker. No one have 20 years to get that view we have of wisdom, some old guy. Now you can have a wisdom much, you need to have it much quicker, but you only can get that with focus. Don't spread your attention.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm guilty of doing that. I get involved probably in too many things. But let me give you an example of right. Let's take our old wise guy, right? Because we've pictured that already, so that's easy to do. And imagine somebody says to this old wise guy, "How can I get my colleagues? There are 10 of them. How can I effectively get them together to have a meeting to discuss this important topic?" So the old wise guy will say, well, the way that it works best is when you've got positive relationships already with these people. And then you explain to them why it's important that everybody comes together. And then you ask them to advise you when they are available. And you can choose a time that goes across all of the 10. And that's a good way for you to arrive at your meeting. And then the 17-year-old guy walks in the door and says, Doodle can do that for you. Are you familiar with the Doodle app? So if you're looking to convene a meeting, you just get everybody to go on there. They indicate when they're available, and it chooses the times that suit most of the people. So the wise guy is kind of redundant because of this new technology. And so that's where I was going when I was thinking about how wisdom is in the context of time. And sometimes you might be wise under a certain set of circumstances, but something new comes in and completely blows you away.
Exactly. Because of it, I said wisdom now is much quicker.
Yeah.
You can't wait. You can't study too long to feel you're a wise person, because you always be out of date. It is the only thing that is constant in the world is the change. So you will always be out of date. So every time someone with 17 years old you came to you, there is a new app that you do what you need. But for me, wisdom is don't focus on that. Don't focus on tools and focus on philosophy and the process and something like that. Because tools is always change. And with 10 minutes in Google, you can find the tool you need.
Yeah.
You only need to make the question, oh, I need to arrange a meeting. how can I do that? I will call everyone, put everyone in the same room, and oh, what day you have? Can you next Sunday? No. Can you next Wednesday? Oh, Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday morning? No, it's impossible. So go to Google and how can I arrange meeting slot with 10 people? For sure you have the solution. So nowadays, the wisdom is make the right question to Google or now to ChatGPT. So thinking the process, think what you need, make the right question, go to Google, and the answer will be there. This is the wisdom for me. Is like as I said in the beginning, I believe more in the questions than in the answers. The answer is easier. Making the right question is hard.
Yeah. And Fabio, I think what this is perhaps suggesting to us is that, we talked about knowledge and experience applied in a context and being able to give advice and using good questions. I think I'm feeling that we need to add tapping into all resources is something else in wisdom, because that example that you've just given of the old guy, knowing what he knows, but still being happy to go on ChatGPT or on Google and finding out the stuff that he might not know. So it's almost paying less importance to what you do know and willing to ask the questions about what you don't know as well. Now, in ValuesJam, there's also an opportunity for you to ask your own question about wisdom. So I'd like to invite you to do that now. And so ask your own question about wisdom. It can begin with who, what, where, when, why, or how. And the question is to both of us. And if you want to answer first, you can. And if you want me to answer first, then I can.
It's a trick question. A challenge task. But for me, it's more philosophical question is, how can we say someone is wise or not? How you see a person say he's a wise person, he has wisdom or not?
So my immediate thoughts are something around a demonstration of previous experience and knowledge, and also positive results. So for somebody that is wise, you would have expected them to have dealt with situations in the past where they've been able to apply their wisdom and there has been a good outcome because of that. So track record, I guess, is what I'm saying. What about you?
Exactly. I had a similar discussion with some friends a few weeks ago. One of them is a doctor in philosophy, and we were talking about the intelligent people, and they said, for me, I get the example for one singer of funk in Brazil that is a kind of music that I hated. Then I said, that girl is more intelligent than me. They said, come on, she talk everything wrong. She just dance and show his ass. And why you are saying she's more intelligent than you? I said, he's much richer than me. His outcome, because of course we are working for why we are working to get money. It is the reason everyone is working, or most of people is working. And she's getting the outcome. She's delivering the value. She's getting the value she wants, and much lower than the outcome she gets. So maybe she is much more intelligent than me. She's wiser than me. So I agree with you that is a track record, and especially the outcome, the value you deliver is what define your reason. It's not just money, of course. I was joking about money, but is think about the outcome, the track record. As I said in the beginning, nowadays we have many gurus, many coach that never deliver anything, and what that person deliver, what that person achieved, what is his track record, to see if he or she can talk about that. Because never get advice from someone that never deliver anything, that never achieve anything. Because if he has all the answers, why he didn't apply that. It's like someone that can preview the future and never get in the Euro Million. So if you can deliver, he can preview the future, give me 6 numbers and I will be rich. So it's easy. So this, my view, is a wise person is someone that delivers something and have attract value. For example, Warren Buffett, that everything that Warren Buffett says, everyone will listen to him. Yeah. Why? Because he has the best track record in the world. So no one will say, I don't think he's right. Come on, he's Warren Buffett. So it's easy. So for me, is your track record is defined if you are wise or not.
Okay. And actually, I want to add a comment around what you were taught, that the example that you gave of the person that had so much money. And this is a story from, it was a golf club, which it was very expensive to be a member at this golf club. So it was 10,000 English pounds to join, and then £4,000 every year as a membership fee. So only people of a certain wealth were members. And one day in the bar, one of the members had too much to drink, and he was on his own. And so I started to have a conversation with him, and he shared that he had property in London, outside London, and in, I seem to remember, Monte Carlo as well. He had a collection of expensive cars. He had a helicopter. He was not married. He did not have a partner. And then, because he was a little bit drunk, he was sharing things that maybe normally he wouldn't. He said, I'm not even sure if my friends are really my friends or whether it's because of my money. And he was one of the most sad people that I've ever met, actually. And so this is to your point about, let's use the word wealth. And I think sometimes when we use the word wealth, we automatically think of money, whereas our true wealth is other things completely. Exactly. And that story, I think, is a really great example of why. And I think people with wisdom, and I use this phrase, and there's a connection with Brazil. So pay more disrespect to money. So instead of worshipping it, really treat it a little bit more with disrespect, because when you focus on money, like that guy, sometimes you get to a place that isn't a good one.
Like, one thing about wisdom that is interesting is someone can be wise in one area and the absolute ignorant, absolute nothing in another area. Because, like your example, probably I want to hear about this from this guy about finance, about entrepreneurship and the investment and whatever, but I don't want any family advice and relationship advice from him. And it's interesting, it's important. No one is good in everything. And the point is, it's important to have a balance, but when you start to receive advice from someone, focus on where is the specialist of that person, where is the expertise of that person, because I don't want to receive a relationship advice from someone that had 5 different marriages.
Yeah.
And I don't want to receive a finance advisor from one that is broke.
Yeah.
So this is the point. No one is always wise. No one have the wisdom in every area.
So Fabio, I think on that note, I mean, that's a very wise thing that you just said. And I think that that's a great time to start to bring our Values Jam to a close. And there's always a final question, and it's this: what are you encouraged to do differently about wisdom as a result of our conversation today?
Good question. The result is exactly what we were talking about. There's different types of wisdom, of different areas, and we need balance to improve our life in all areas. Of course, I want to improve my health. I want to improve my relationship with my family, and I want to improve my money, my career. But when you stop to listen to someone, think about what is the area that person is wise, and do not listen people that is not delivering a good value in that area.
Okay.
Because nowadays we receive so much information, and the quality is not good all the time, to not say other things. And before listening someone, stop thinking if it is a wise person in the area he's talking about.
Yeah.
Because you can receive advisor that they won't help you, and they won't bring you or help you to achieve what you want. Because if that person didn't achieve that, probably he doesn't know the solution you are looking for. So before listening to someone, thinking about what that person delivered in that area,
Okay.
especially in that area.
Okay, thank you. And mine, I've got two actually. One is a very practical, concrete idea, and the other one is a bit more philosophical. So the philosophical one is that I think that most people have wisdom somewhere in some area. And sometimes I think I don't look for that hard enough. And so this conversation is going to make me more focused on finding out where people have wisdom and gaining from that. So that's the first thing. And then the second is a suggestion or an offer for us, which, you know, it's up to you whether you wish to accept or not. And it's fine either way. My book is published next April. Your book is published next year. So when they're produced, I would love to exchange books with you.
For sure. Absolutely.
Cool. Okay. So Fabio, again, thank you so much for your time today with this Values Jam. It's been great fun and very thought-provoking as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you for the invite. I hope people enjoy our conversation. It was not too boring. And when my book will be published, I will send you a copy, a signed copy. I hope you like it and you apply it and help you to achieve your goals.
Thank you, Fabio. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.